Hello everyone, it's Miss M here. I'm here to read you a story. I'm outside in my backyard. Scout's running around, so if you hear his collar jingling or if he barks, that's who that is. It's Scout. So today our story is called Caps for Sale. And it is a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. Now a peddler is the name for a guy way back in the olden days that used to sell caps. Any idea what a cap is, I wonder? What do those look like to you? There's some monkeys. So I know our characters are going to be a man called a peddler selling something and some monkeys in their monkey business. It's actually really funny. And this is told and illustrated by Esfer Slobodkina. That's some weird last names. Okay, so here's our peddler. He has all these caps on his head. What is a cap? Do you know what a cap is? It's a fancy name for a hat. And he's selling them. And that must be how he sells them. It's better to hold them on top of his head than in a bag, apparently. Okay. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had his own checked cap. That's that one underneath. It's a checkered one. It's a little bit different than the other ones. Then he had a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, he wore a bunch of red caps. So all these caps. He walked up and down the street, holding himself very straight. I wonder why he walked so straight. Think about that for a second. Why did he walk up so straight down the street? So as to not upset his cap, so he didn't tip his cap tower. As he went along, he called, "Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." Those are pretty cheap. You can't buy hats for 50 cents nowadays. They're too expensive. One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap. But nobody wanted any caps. That morning, nobody wanted even a red cap. So he began to feel very hungry. But he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he. And he walked out of town slowly, so as to not upset his caps. So he walked really slowly out to the country. Scout, what are you doing? Oh, it's a weird bird. Come here. You might see him. Oh, no, he's chasing bugs. It's his favorite thing to do out in the yard, just so you know. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he. So he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as to not disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. So he went like this, making sure all of his caps were straight. First he checked his own cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. So I know what you're thinking. How do you think he got those blue and red caps all the way on the top? Because his arms aren't that long. Beats me. I don't know. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a really long time. Wouldn't that be nice to take a nap under a tree? Especially out when it's sunny. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. Does everything look normal to you? I noticed that something is missing. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. So that's the only cap he had. The other ones are missing. He looked to the right of him, like this. No caps. He He looked to the left of him, like this. No caps. He looked in the back of him. No caps. He looked behind the tree, like this. Can you peek behind a tree? Were there any caps there? Nope. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? Think about that for a second. What do you think is missing? Look at the front cover. Remember what we're supposed to see in this story. Wonder what kind of monkey business is going on. On every branch sat a monkey. And on every monkey was a gray, a brown, a blue, or a red cap. Oh my gosh, those sneaky monkeys. That's not very nice of them to steal caps that aren't theirs, are they? Or is it? And what really disturbs me is they did that all while he was sleeping. So they went and snuck and grabbed the hats one by one while he was sleeping. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. What do you think he said? What would you say if monkey stole your hat? I don't even know what I would say if a monkey stole my hat. You monkeys, you, he said, shaking a finger at them. You give me back my caps. But the monkey only shook their finger and back at him and said, tss, 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 tss. Would that be what a monkey would do? Sounds pretty monkey-like to me. This made the peddler angry, so he shook both hands at them and said, You monkeys, you give me back my caps. But the monkeys only shook their hands back at him and said, tss, 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 tss. Those darn monkeys. Now he felt quite angry. Can you all make an angry face? He stamped his foot and he said, You monkeys, you better give me back my caps. But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, tss, 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 tss. Oh my gosh, they're being pesky. Do you think that made him feel better or more angry when they did that back at him? I bet they made him feel even more mad. By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and shouted, You monkeys, you must give me back my caps. But the monkeys only stamped both of their feet back at him and said, tss, 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 tss. Oh my gosh, they think this is so funny. He does not think it's funny. At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and threw it on the ground and began to walk away. Now, I think the monkeys are going to do something on accident that they didn't mean to do, because this whole time they've been copying him on everything he does. When he shook his finger at him, when he stamped one foot, then when he stamped both, and when he shook his hands at him like this. So when he takes his hat off and he throws it down, what do you think those monkeys are probably going to do to make fun of him? But then each monkey pulled off his cap, and then what do you think happened? Do you think they threw it up and yelled hooray? And all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. That's one smart peddler. So the peddler picked up his caps, put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. Wonder where the monkeys went. And slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" Okay, so my question for you is, what is a cap? What is it? It's a fancy name for something. And if you heard the story, you know what I'm talking about. It was really good hanging out with you guys today. Have a good day. Bye.